Good morning, good morning, my people, my wonderful people. Today is April the 9th of 2022. God help us as we are approaching Easter. It's around the corner, y'all. We have to thank God for bringing us to a new month of April, and we pray that He will continue to guide us throughout the year,
Mhm.
that we will continue to do the right thing, we'll continue to be consistent, that will continue to lead our people to the right direction so that in unison we can hold hands like brothers and sisters that we are and march into our land and take over. So,
Amen.
welcome to the program today. I don't know if my voice, I find myself speaking a little lower than normal. Like we always say, please help us to share, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, that whole fancy things that they do on social media. And our goal is for people to get our messages and not necessarily for, some people use it to raise funds. We are not interested in raising funds. We just want our people to get this message. We are of the opinion that once our people understand the message on ground, that no enemy, also how the 1 million, also how already the whole world can come against us. So you can see that some people are fighting against that intensively just to make sure that these messages do not go across. So help us to share, help us to disseminate, help us to do all the things that need to be done so that people will join the program and learn more. My name is Munachim Saga, and I'm here in Houston, Texas. The weather is actually nice today. We woke up to a 48-degree temperature today when it was almost 80 yesterday. So it's a wonderful day, and I will allow my sister to introduce herself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, our viewers. We appreciate you for the work you're doing in your neighborhood, your area, amongst your friends, your family, your colleagues, telling them what is going on. Because, like my sister said, that we're so persuaded that if our people knew the details, the truths behind the things they are seeing, if our people could connect what they're seeing to what they're hearing and the things going on, they will make a move. They will not just be there quiet, waiting for them to be swallowed by the enemies in the land. So please, we need to do this work together. Share it to your church leaders, your traditional leaders, your political friends, your uncles, aunts, those your special people, your contact, all the people in your contact, your groups. Share this information and encourage them to watch it. And then go back to them, ask them, do you have question? Don't just throw it and leave it there. Say, that thing I sent to you, did you understand it? Do you have questions? We can connect you to the people so that you can ask questions if you have any. And then you can watch also. So please, let's do this together. The work is for all of us. My name is Dr. Simon Okube Ekwi, and I live in Lexington, Kentucky. I will give you food for thought. So as we proceed, this one today we're addressing Ndi Igbo people. Remember, Igbo people are indigenous people. They are one of the indigenous peoples trapped in that Nigeria. And where they are located is the block, the Lower Niger block. We are not saying the Lower Niger is a nation because some people like getting confused as if they place the curse on them never to understand anything they hear.
Hmm.
And that's what will come here. Even if they place the curse on someone and say, to listen and don't hear, because as I did, we read it for you here in the scripture, where they said that some people, because of the evil they have done, God said they will hear, they will listen, but they will not hear. And those that manage to hear will not understand. They will look, but they will not see. So we know that some people are, that type of curse is on them. Please, as you meet them, pray for them and lay hands on them so that the curse will break. So as we were saying, under Ninas, we have 3 blocks. That's the southern and middle belt side of this Nigeria that you're calling Nigeria. The middle belt is a block and it's heterogeneous block. The southwest is also a block, but it's a homogeneous block. Then lower Niger, which they use the map of 1885 ethno-linguistic map Go and Google it. We deal with facts, not things conjured up. So that area, we have up to 11 or more peoples in that area. So it's heterogeneous. So Ndi Igbo are one of the ancestral groups in that land. And you must go with your original name. We have some people say their forefathers, the original name is Biafra. No, you don't know who your forefathers are. Your forefathers did not start existing from 1967 when you started hearing Biafra. Your forefathers existed thousands, 5,000 years back, and they are referred to as Ndi Igbo. So please, this food for thought is mainly for Ndi Igbo. As the spirit of Igbo returns, we want to say a special thank you to those making it happen, the Aladimma team, and every Igbo man and Igbo woman out there that is proud of being Igbo, not something else, and who thinks is important for Ndi Igbo to gather in their original and ancestral name. We'll give you a shout out because you know what is up. As Ndi Igbo arise, may they obtain favor, may they obtain mercy in the sight of their maker and only king, Chukwu Okike. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. And we are standing in the gap for our brothers and sisters that are still carrying on with misinformation, that doesn't understand what the truth is. They're not even interested. They're like, they have a lot of addicts in our land. They have church addicts. They have midweek addicts. They have fasting and praying addicts. They have all kinds of addicts. They say good governance addict. They don't have that one. So every time I go to fee here, how they addicted to it. Whatever it is, if Chinese people come there to sell stuff, they become addicted to Chinese products. It's like addiction, all forms of addictions. That's what we're suffering from. And as mothers, as sisters, as daughters, we are here to teach you guys what is evidence-based so that we all can understand who the true enemies are and how we can get out of their camp. So it's a no-brainer. You just have to tune in. Join us today as we continue to share. Help us to share this information as much as you can. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, and we are on Twitter as well. So help us to share this information because you can see somebody is intentionally making sure that people don't get this information. That we are asking you to do your part. Let's not worry about what the enemies are doing. Do your part and leave the rest to God. God is the author of this universe. He's the one who created everyone. So even when they're playing games of numbers, we know that our people are listening because the feedback that we get at the end is overwhelming. All right, so let's move on to our topic today, which is developing leaders that can change the world. Developing leaders that can change the world. They say that idea rules the world. However, good leadership is the product of good leaders and good followers. There's an increased sense of urgency around the issues affecting our daily lives. And we cannot no longer afford not to have good leaders, especially the holistic ones who can be at the helm of affairs. A holistic leader is ready to tap into a deep reservoir of competence and character as they advance human and organizational potential to impact their society positively. A holistic leader will approach a situation, a decision regarding what they're going to do and how they're going to do it by looking at competencies in specific skills and delegating things and communicating and using strategic thinking. Holistic leadership does not happen by chance or because a leader is charismatic or talented. There has to be a strong foundation underlying their performance. They continuously build on and improve throughout their leadership and rely on ongoing support to realize the potential that will take their people to a new height. So, as the indigenous peoples trapped within the British experiment called Nigeria, as we struggle to wiggle out of this caliphate hellhole, it has become apparent that the people need leaders that has the characteristics that I mentioned before, leaders who would understand our worldview, and not necessarily those that, they can talk, they can deceive you, just like we see in our churches every day. They know how to spew out lies and deception and manipulation. This is in their DNA to do so. As we are watching, the collapse of Nigeria is everywhere. And the good thing is that it did not come as a surprise to those that are keen and sincere. The only ones that are still confused about what's going on in Nigeria are the church leaders, people that are delusional, greedy, selfish, the so-called one Nigerianists, and their blind, unaccountable, reckless leaders. The indices of collapse and human underdevelopment has been too glaring to go unnoticed, only if you are addicted to Murumiri and the rest of them. But again, how could we have noticed when we are made to sit out in a church, when we have become church addicts, sit down, they look addicts, party addicts, comedian addicts, our land will be burning, somebody will be making fun with it, and people are laughing. We are the first class irresponsible citizens. As things fall apart and the center cannot hold, we are trapped with church leaders full of promises that when we die, we'll go to heaven. Why them and their cohorts? They enjoy themselves here on earth. My people, if we don't hurry up from this last chance bus that we have entered, we will be destined to end up in Sambisa Forest. And it's not looking good for all of us. So please, let's end Nigeria now before Nigeria ends us. We are going to start today with a video that is going to shed light on why we need to leave that contraption called Nigeria. So I will allow my sister to add some while I pull up the video, and then we'll move from there.
Thank you so much, my sister. We need leaders, not talkers, because, like you said, ideas rule the world. So please, in your neighborhood, we want to work with leaders. If we have good leaders in the families, in the clan, in the community, then we'll know where we're going. We were here when these things happened. We were watching them. We saw it. We saw when they came. So this first video, we can see the people that we're talking about. You can see them, the terrorists. They are here. This is this man, the CMD, the MD, acting MD or CEO of the Bank of Agriculture. That's the one that is in the middle there. They have a message from the bandits. These are the bandits. These people, do they look like bandits or like miscreants to you? Do they look like people that don't know what they're doing? These people are trained professionals, professional terrorists, well organized, and they know what they're doing, and they know their partners, and they know where they're going. So this is not a joke. Look at the man, they say he's an old man. They release him because he's an old man. No, don't believe them. My take is that this man, they just brought him out. It's part of the program. If you check, he might be Fulani. If he's not Fulani, he's an in-law to Fulani, or his grandson to Fulani. There must be some blood connection. So they will use him and bring him out and say, oh, this is what we call tekia in their conquest strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're lying to you, the more you look, the less you see. You'll be confused. They talk here, you get so confused. But if you have the proper information and hold on to it, you will never get confused. So please listen to them briefly. What he said in Hausa, they spoke in Hausa. We know how people do not understand Hausa, but we are playing it for you to listen to their voice, to tune. Then those that can understand Hausa can explain to their people what they heard. We'll play another one after this that will tell you a little bit of what is being said here in Hausa. Thank you, my sister.
I think the volume is slow. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Amma wannan gwamnati kusan abin da kuke kai wannan ba komai bane, mun je tausaya masa ne, mun miƙa masa. Gashi nan dai in yana da wani ƙarin bayanin da zai muku sai ya muku kuji daga bakinsa. Wannan dai shine insha Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ina so na shaida muku cewa an tausaya mun saboda girma na da tsubara da nake da shi aka ce in fita. Amma ina so shaida muku cewa na ba al'umma a baya da dama kuma suna cikin yanayin da suna buƙatar taimako, ɗaukaka na fito da su da wuri. Ina fata gwamnati za su samu shugabannin wannan kungiya.
It's quite low. But
It is. I think that's the way they said it. I can't
Okay.
hear. All right, let me stop the video.
yeah, let's play the next one. The summary, the most important thing here is that the bandits, in quotes, are getting closer to the target. Wherever they set out to go and what they have put up in their mind to do, they are getting closer to it. That's all that is important in this case. So if you know what to do, begin to do it now. And we have a plan on the table. We have a strategy on the table. We are just making our people to understand it. Please play the next one so that one is in English and our people will understand. It's almost saying the same thing. But like we say, do not be deceived. Don't think that they don't know what they're doing or that all these things are just happening by chance. No, it's strategized. It's multi-dimensional strategy. That's what they're following. And if you don't approach it with that mindset, you will get confused. You get carried away. So when they're saying what they're saying, listen not just to what they're saying, listen to what they are not saying. Then you begin to put connections in what is really going on. You understand it. It's not that difficult to understand because they're doing it they are so bold and do with so much audacity. So it's difficult for somebody not to understand. Anybody not understanding what is going on is a liar and is deceiving himself or is part of the people benefiting from the system. These things are not hidden. Please go ahead.
The leader.
He's the leader. Yes, he said his name, something like Katella Ali. Something like Katella Ali. They were just complaining about the government, that the government promised them something during the election. All these fake promises of politics. So they didn't fulfill it. That was what tempted them to be into this bandit of 18 and kidnapping. But what they promised us that, and I asked one of them that, what do you want from the government? They were telling us that what we want is that if the government can fulfill their promises. And I asked them what was their promises. They were saying that shelter. The government promised them to give them hospital, good education. They will pay some of them salaries, something like that, farms and everything. But the government refused. After the election was fulfilled, the government now decided not to fulfill their promises. That was what they've been saying. It's government.
So 7 days in the bush. How were you faring? What were you eating? What were you drinking?
We've been drinking dirty water.
Go ahead, Sister Kwe.
Okay, so you see, my people, you're listening. When they say government, I want you to know that I'm talking about APC politicians and mainly Fulani politicians and like elites, because that's what's strategizing these things. El-Rufai, Buhari, all these people, they went to bring in their cousins to come and help them remove Jonathan from government. Remember when they said they will make Jonathan's government ungovernable? And Jonathan also said that he has Boko Haram in Aso Rock. These things were not hidden, they were open. So they gave these foreign terrorists, they gave them the promise that if they come in and help them to remove Jonathan, that they will give them our land, the ancestral land of the indigenous peoples. So they made the government, Jonathan's government, ungovernable. And thanks to Obama, Hillary Clinton, Biden, Obama's wife, the people that are championing bring back our girls, which is all part of the strategy. You know, what they do is that they will commit the atrocity and come as if they're coming to help you to solve the problem. So all this is part of the strategy, and I tell you, it's multi-dimensional. So if you don't look at it with that mind, like what I'm looking at is broad. If you're myopic and your mind is like this, you will not get it because this will not make sense to you. But if you look at it that is multi-dimensional, you begin to connect the dots. It's very easy to connect. So they made all these things, and then for them to bring to take away power from Jonathan, a southerner, back to the Fulanis, because he heard them say they will never allow power to depart from their hands. because they believe that if power departs from their hands, that Nigerians, the indigenous peoples of Nigeria, will drive them out of the land. So they are holding on to that power. And you remember we said that they are partners with Britain. We showed you a map severally here, how they were coming from the north and then Britain coming from the south. And they are partners working together. So this thing also happened during Biafra War, the Biafra genocide, 1967-70, when Gowon gave out part of Nigeria, which is Bakassi, part of our southern parts, the Bakassi Peninsula, gave it out to the people coming to help him to defeat Biafrans. And when they finished, they came back. They said, you promised us this land, give it to us. My people, you can see today, the Bakassi Peninsula is no more part of Nigeria. This is how these reckless leaders have been making deals using your land and your resources. Very dangerous life, and
because it doesn't belong to them. It does not belong to them.
Exactly. It does not belong to them. Because if it belongs to you, you will not be making deadly deals with killers. They do not care. And this is why we're telling our people, you cannot afford to just say it doesn't matter. Because you have children, you're giving birth to children. If you don't take care of your children and their inheritance, the earth, posterity will not forgive you. Now we're going to play this next one because we're also going to examine the indices of leadership failure. We will take it one by one for you so that those that are still not connecting can connect these dots. They're not far-fetched. This is Melafia talking to our people before he was killed. Of course, you know he was killed. He just didn't die because he had said some things that he shouldn't have said. But his own mistake is that as he was saying it, he did not really agree with Ninas that he needs to run away from them. He was still having friendship and thinking, my brother, you know, like some people that will say Fulani. They say Fulani is my brother. Please, let's talk together. If you do that, the danger is that they will poison you and you will die. So please, if you don't agree what we're saying, what it will happen to you is that you will not protect yourself because you still be dining and whining with the enemy. Some will say they want to use long spoon. I don't know about the long spoon. All I know is stay away from the enemy and let's move away from them. So let's listen to him, then we'll continue again.
And let me make some revelations because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Don't joke with what I'm saying. I have a PhD from Oxford University. I'm a central banker. We don't talk nonsense. So don't joke with what I'm telling you. I have this from the highest possible authority, higher authority of some of the commanders of the killers and Boko Haram.
You said northern governors, past or present, Dr. Baraya?
No, current. No, they said one of them is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. One of them.
Is another Afghanistan loading for Nigeria? That is a question of Nina's looking at all of what have been going on in terms of terrorists that are operating unchallenged, freely across vast territories, but moving steadily towards Abuja. If we looked at the patterns from Afghanistan between the Taliban that was constantly repenting and being infused into the Afghan army, commanded by people who were sympathetic to the Taliban. Over time, sufficient numbers of them were infused into the Afghan army, and they turned up just on a day of their choice. And the government fled, and they made an announcement that they've taken over the country.
Yep.
Where we are in Nigeria is that we're seeing a similar pattern, that people who are openly sympathetic to the Boko Haram and the Fulani herdsmen, all of those who have been, labeled one thing or the other, including bandits, that the media of Nigeria, became complicit in describing terror as banditry.
They are.
Gumi became their spokesman. Miyetti Allah became their champion, boasting and taking credit for, advancing their cause. Fulani herdsmen. And the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria, who had been for many years the life grand patron of Miyetti Allah, and who in the past had openly declared that an attack on Boko Haram was an attack on the north. We are putting all of this, piecing the jigsaw together to make the picture of what is coming. You take the map of Nigeria, you begin to see who is where these things are coming from, where they've gotten to, and where it could be heading to. We are at least entitled to interpret, as we can see, that a government that is sympathetic to those who are carrying out the invasion. And why do we say sympathetic? We look back at the alarm raised by General T.Y. Danjuma. I think it was in March 2018 when he alleged that the federal government of Nigeria and its armed forces were in open collusion in facilitation of the invasion that we were witnessing, sweeping through, vast swaths of land in a southward movement. And so we've come to raise this alarm that it appears we are heading in that direction, that Boko Haram elements are being alleged to have repented, being rehabilitated with public funds, some even sent overseas, but was still being infused into the military of Nigeria. The database of Nigeria is still in the hands of a known sympathizer of that terror network called Issa Pantami, minister in charge of the branch of government that has to document us as citizens of Nigeria.
Diego, this is the biggest joke of the century. We're going to post this video in its entirety on our Facebook page. Anaha Gwalunu to listen up. And people are busy speaking English, doing write-up, wedding, partying, graduation, whatever you guys are doing. The worst part about all of this is that when that geographical space turns into Afghanistan, don't even think America is going to bring a plane where you can hang at the corner, then people will see you on TV and say, oh, please bring them in. You wouldn't even be on the news. You wouldn't even be on the news. People will be going about their ways. Americans will be going on vacations, and nobody will even know that you existed. We have an opportunity to make this right. We have an opportunity to right this wrong. The people are busy playing games. People are busy turning blind eyes. We have evidence about all the Kikanjo that they're not even hiding what they're doing.
No.
It's my people that don't want to listen to what they're doing because They have English language, and some of them have, do have money as well. The danger is looming, y'all. Impending doom is coming. Are you part of the strategy to make sure that you and your children are not trapped in that danger? Are you one of the responsible citizens that is asking the legitimate questions? Are you going up to your pastors that are mesmerizing you guys with church songs and all kinds of stuff and not addressing the social ills? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Or are you waiting for darkness to bounce upon you before you start looking to find where the lanterns and where the lights are? It doesn't have to be that way. Go ahead, sister.
No, it doesn't have to be that way, my sister. Our people, viewers, please like, share. We want to break it down for you so that if you're not connecting the dots yet, you will begin to do so. We told you it's multi-dimensional approach, multi-dimensional strategy, and we'll break it down for you. The failure of government you're seeing is not because we don't have people that can make good decisions. It's man-made. The terrorism you're seeing is man-made. The cultism you're seeing everywhere is man-made. The agitation you're seeing everywhere, the weaponization of poverty you are observing, all these are connected. They are part of the strategy to get the indigenous peoples killed or replaced by these foreign terrorists and bandits. We don't want you to look and see less. We want you to look and see more, because that's why they gave you eyes that is connected to the brain. If God did not want you to see and connect it to your brain, your eye will not be connected to your brain. God connected your eyes to your brain, apart from seeing, to also be able to connect what you're seeing and make sense out of what you're seeing. The anarchy you're seeing in Southeast, anywhere you see anarchy is being created, is man-made, which is why we're telling Igbo, no matter what your problem is, do not allow your land to be overrun by the foreign military, because you are creating anarchy and making space for them to come in and do what they wanted to do. You are doing yourself. Anything you're doing, make sure you do not create anarchy. Once you create anarchy, they will fly on it and come into your space. Is this difficult to understand? Anarchy is part of the strategy they use. Check other parts of the world. So, weaponized poverty that we're talking about. Let's give you details how they weaponized poverty. They made sure that some cultural practices and politics that we make the people go down were upheld. For instance, early marriages in some parts, because they use different things for different parts. Early marriages, children giving birth to children, that will keep them poor. Gender inequality, where you're not educating the girls, the girl child is not being educated, these are part of the tools. Underdevelopment of human capital, lack of job skills, they are all part of the strategy among the working population. They are part of it. Non-investment in schools is part of the strategy, because when you are informed, there are three major tools: fear, ignorance, and military. When you are ignorant, they can easily use you to do whatever they want to do. So they don't want you to be educated. That is why when Goodluck came building schools, they had to remove him immediately. We told you that these people are partners. We have the local agents and the external forces. They are working together. But you need to understand, because some of our people that are doing IPOB, they don't understand, and they play into the hands of the foreign agents. The people that are doing the thing, you mistakenly play into their hands. Open door for them to come and do what they wanted to do anyways, because you are ignorant. And when we say ignorant, it doesn't mean that you did not go to school. It doesn't mean that you cannot speak English. There are some people that have PhDs and are still very ignorant of what we're talking about. Some people are medical doctors, lawyers. Name it. That's still very ignorant. So when we talk about ignorance, we're not talking about, oh, that you didn't go to school. We mean that you do not understand what you're saying. You're looking, but it's not making sense to you. So they intentionally perpetuate poverty in our place and make it generation to generation. So from generation to generation, our people are made to be poor. Anything that will make our people to remain poor, they will champion it. Any policy that they will make that will make the indigenous peoples to be poor, they will champion it. So it's part of it. Any part of thing that will make them to remain hopeless, they will champion it. But somebody will say, so why didn't we correct all these things all this while? All these practices that we saw that were not going to help us to get developed as a nation, why didn't we correct them? That's what we said. Leadership failure is intentional. So they will make sure that you will never bring in people that will correct these things that they have already put in place. If you ever come in and you want to correct them and make the people to stop being poor, they will remove you, or they will say corruption, corruption. They'll put charges on you, do so many things and destroy what you're trying to do. You see what is happening to Soludo? Soludo is a professor of economics. They will mess him up. There are two things. Either they get a stupid leader. You will vote. Somebody that knows what to do will never be allowed to be a leader. But if they ever allow somebody that knows what to do to come in, they have a plan B.
Sabotage.
They will sabotage him.
Everywhere.
So that he will be disgraced. Do you people remember Bola Ige? Bola Ige criticized the government so much, they made him a minister. To come and do that thing he has been saying, they sabotaged him and killed him. So what we're saying is not just local. We want you to look very well so that you understand what you're saying. We want you to understand what you're saying. Why did our politicians not use these indices? There are indices that will show you that, oh, these things, if you see this, this will not happen. Why didn't they use them to correct and build? How long will it take for responsible adults to understand what is happening to them? They keep sabotaging what we're about to do. I don't know who is calling. They keep sabotaging what we are doing. Keep sabotaging the people. You will ask, for what purpose? Who is doing it? And for what purpose? We have resources in Nigeria. Nigeria is the 6th oil-producing country in the world. So does it make sense to you that Nigerians are poor? And all these other things you're seeing is as a result of the weaponization of poverty. So please, we want us to look and understand. Our leaders are unable to forecast and interpret situations correctly. Why? Because they are not really our leaders. The ones that would do the job are not being allowed to come in to do the job. If they manage to one way or the other bring themselves inside, they will sabotage everything they try to do and make them look stupid. It is a bigger strategy. It's not just within. It's the one outside and the one inside working hand in hand. But what is it about? It's about resource control. Because once you continue to be stupid and just doing anything, they can take your resources freely. It's resource control. So they will do anything to get it done. Yep. We're going to play another video for you.
While you're busy killing yourself.
While you're busy killing yourself. This is... Go ahead, my sister.
All right, so we're going to play the next video because the reason why we keep bringing up the churches every day here is that they are part of the problem. They are part of the addiction that these people are using to weaponize their aggression against us. They have been paid. Think about in a typical village. My husband was talking to one of his friends the other day. And in a typical village, they have 5 Catholic churches. 5 cathedrals. I mean, which kind is church? Church is the one that you have 7 chairs in.
Yes.
They have cathedrals, 5 cathedrals, and no industry. None, one, zap. So you can see when we talk about multi-dimensional strategy, these are the things that they're doing to us. They will build 5 churches in one particular village where people are hungry. I'm talking about village or not town. And these people will be, oh my God, they've been doing this for years. Doing this for years, are people who abandon what they are doing, even the hand skills that they have, and be stuck in church. I remember asking my father one time about there's something that we eat called oswakede back home. And I was asking him the last time he went home if he ate it. He's like, which oswakede? That women that are making it, each time you ask them to place an order, they said they are going to the mission. They are going to Ekpere. They are going to this. This is part of this. And for years, we didn't know. We thought like, okay, they're praying to God now. There's nothing wrong with praying to God. My brothers and sisters, is part of the strategies.
My dear, do you notice that some of these large, big-time pastors were Muslims before?
My dear, part of the strategy now.
Yes, people like Bakare, Adeboye, they are coming from Muslim families. And when Pastor Emmanuel Bosu warned us about what they're going to do in Yoruba land, we did not understand it. So these people will now come. They are pastors, but they cannot convert their mother. They cannot convert their brothers and sisters, but they are converting Ndibo and making Ndibo to come and build big churches for them. As they are inside, they are brainwashing Ndibo, and all the indigenous people, washing them, their brain, brainwashing them. So they created cults in our land, different kinds of cults. You have political cults, you have religious cults, you have freedom fighting cults, you have academic cults in the universities. And these cults, they have the same agenda, brainwashing the people and keeping them unable to reason. They will not be able to reason. So you see, these things are all working together. You will see it. These big churches, why they keep our people there, telling them stories. Mbagaba, Ajambene, jihadists, their brothers, are coming from back.
Doing the work in the background.
And then people like Adeboye will tell them, say, vote, you can't get your PVC. Meanwhile, it's Adeboye that brought Buhari. Adeboye entertained Buhari and El-Rufai in his church and advertised them to the church people. That's how Redeem went to vote Buhari inside. Since Buhari has been, and his cousins have been killing Christians, Adeboye has not once said anything. Rather, he went to Kaduna to praise El-Rufai for the wonderful job he's doing. A pastor in Redeem, a woman in Abuja, was beheaded. Adeboye did not speak a word. We are telling our people to understand this strategy. They will tell you to go and pick up PVC. Meanwhile, it's Fulani that is INEC that will conduct the election and count it. The returning officers are the Fulanis. Everything is there. They know. But these people, because they are part of the plan to keep the indigenous peoples down, why is it that when Christians are being killed, that the Christian leaders will not speak? Is a strategy now?
Pope is speaking against what's happening in Ukraine now.
Okay.
When you talk to a bishop here, they will say, oh, it's political. I don't want to go political. I am not political. Pope is there at his window, calling Russian and this thing to stop what they're doing in Ukraine. And he said he's going to travel to Ukraine. So, why our own churches are being quiet? Because they're busy collecting tithes and offering. With the tithes and offering, they are hoping the oncoming politician will come and give his own tithes and offering. They will be whining and dining with people that are doing numbers on us. Even presidency, they will show up and pray presidents and say, God has brought us Buhari. And the people of God will shout, Amen.
So there are two groups in that church. Those that are Muslims that entered the church saying that they're now Christians. And those that are dining and whining with the politicians that are making money off the blood of the people. At the end, who is suffering? The people. Our people, we want you to look and see. That's what we're saying. Melafia warned us. He said that these people are coming. You were there where they threw up the borders, our borders, to bring them in, to make them citizens of Nigeria. Now they're issuing ID card, national identification cards, to all of them. These things are happening. You're seeing it, but you're not. You see, when we talk about hijack of government, it's a gradual thing. You see them hijack the planes. You see them hijack train. What next will they hijack? They are coming. As we speak, Zamfara, Borno, Niger, Kaduna, Southeast, they are all crumbling. When we say state collapse, when we say Nigeria is collapsing, it's usually gradual, state by state, local government by local government, community by community. Look at what happened in Yugoslavia, because you have to learn from others. Look at Democratic Republic of Congo. This is how this thing that is happening in Nigeria now is how it all started. It continued until Mobutu fled on the last plane. After that, the bandits, the militia took over everywhere, all different parts of the country. People had to hire military escorts to escort them to move around where they want to move around. Remember the issue my sister was talking about Afghanistan. The people living in the capital of Afghanistan didn't even know that anything was happening. They were saying, oh, no, it's just happening in all those local government and villages. It won't get here. The day he entered the capital of Afghanistan, it was one day. Bam! They slept and woke up. Bam! Even the president of America, President Biden, could not anticipate it. He was still saying, no, we have months. He didn't know they had just hours. And these people appeared. And
with all the intelligence. So.
With all the intelligence. And ammunition. For those that are saying, let's go and buy ammunition. Let's go and do this. Look at, if you know the story of what happened in Afghanistan, you will begin to develop sense. You begin to understand what we are telling you. So please, we are telling our people to open their ears. Don't allow these church leaders to deceive you. Do not, because they're part of the strategy. We are not saying you should not be a Christian, but we are telling you that your Christianity has been corrupted. We are telling you that your enemy has used your religion, that thing you love so much. Our people love God so much. They have used it, they have corrupted it and used it to bind you. So open your eyes, because you know what? We are moving. We're not waiting for you. The only thing is that some people will die, because if you don't open it, like Melafia who told you, there was an event, we had one of the Daughters of Truth telling Melafia, apart from the one that Ninas had told him before, he was still making presentation and speaking big English. That's how they were able to get him. If you don't know who your enemies are, they will get you. If you are calling your enemies your brother, your in-laws, they will get you, because you'll be dining and whining with them.
They don't even consider you as their brothers and their you are the fool. You are the fool. Calling them brother, to you, you are an infidel that needs to die. Exactly. That's all they know. Okay. As we said, the churches are part of the strategy. Or as you're sitting there and thinking they're there praying for you, keeping you an addict, because I can only call it an addiction. Our people are so addicted to church that no amount of therapy, only God will get them out of the level of addiction these Muslim, cleric, Fulani church leaders have trapped them into. That's why the likes of Adeboye or Deboyek or Debonjo, whatever he has, will have, at this point in time, telling you to go and pick up PVCs. The church did not rise up and tell him, what did we gain from the one you promoted before? No. So he got all like this, come, Korea, Daddy Gio. Now got to your slaughterhouse. You guys are freely following them. You're even funding them. You're not just following them, you're funding them in your debt. They are coming to kill you, and you're giving them funds to actually make it happen. And then my people are here, the people that could have been able to help, the so-called bishops and fathers. As we're telling you, the Catholic churches here in America is manned by our people. Everywhere we go, or everywhere I go, I will see one of my patients or whatever, they will say, oh, your last name, it looks like the pastor in our church. Okay. Oh, your last name, it looks like our father, Okafo. You see your brothers and sisters hiding there. None of them is telling them what is going on in their land. But look at 1 month of war now, Ukraine. Everywhere you go, support Ukraine. Even on Amazon, I went to order something the other day. They asked me, do I want to support Ukraine? Support Ukraine, but my people are dying. Nobody is supporting them. The church is not speaking about it. And these churches were the international platforms to speak on these issues. When they do make up to speak, they will tell you to go and get your PVC so you can go and vote. Every time you validate that vote, it's another 4 years for you guys to die. Because people are asking, what are you going to do if they don't? You will just die. That's all. The blood of monkeys and baboons, like Buhari said, will be flowing on the streets. That's all. So if you don't want your blood to be the baboon and monkey that will be flowing on the street, you go with Ninas and we say close shop, no election for 2023. We are not going to renew for Adiboye and Co. to continue to fuel the jet with the blood of our people. What part of that are we not understanding? Oh, they wouldn't allow us to close shop. They wouldn't allow us to close shop. Really? All of a sudden now, you don't know how to stop people from closing shop? The smartest people you don't know anymore? You are allowing people in the Yoruba, Mepere Church, all over, all the shopping strip, that is in Houston. They have one. If they cannot find the small one, they will find big one. They will find the smallest one everywhere, especially when they see there are Igbo people in that neighborhood. They will stuff one somewhere so that they can trap us, all of us, in there. People will abandon their children, their husband to be going to midweek services. These churches are so sophisticated that they'll have a credit card. I have never seen that in any of the churches. They have credit card for you to be swiping. If you can't swipe it, they have an app. Oh, I forgot. It's not credit card. They have an app. So everybody with a smartphone, they will ask you to download the app in your phone, and then you put your credit card, and they ask you the amount that you want to contribute weekly, daily, whatever way. They have all those options that then you choose. Mind you, the Bible says that you're not supposed to be a slave to your owners. But these churches are willingly creating you to be a slave, asking you to put money in a credit card that they don't know if you're going to be able to pay at the end of the month. So the point that we are trying to make is that these people are business partners. And you have the likes of them, because I don't want to keep saying Yoruba churches. You have the likes of Mbakaha that will bring Buhari for you. You have Ebubo Muojo, because he cannot be Muonso. Ebube Muojo, you have all of them doing things to promote these politicians that are business partners with those killing us. So it's all of them. They are all business partners. You see them in Yoruba land, you see them in Igbo land. I bet you see them in all the other places, because we are church addicts. So I'm going to play this video just for you guys to understand the level of nsogbu where we have found ourselves. Because you that is trapped in that church, now you. If you don't wake up, you are the monkey and the baboons that the blood will flow on the streets. Let me see if it will allow me to play. All of a sudden it says it can't play. I guess I opened it for too long while I was talking. I'll pull it back up. It's so sad, my people. We have to do better. We have to do that. We are connecting this dot, because some people will say, oh, all you do is talk. But you are going to that church every Sunday. You're not realizing that the church is part of the problem. So we're here talking, so that you can connect the dots and start making the right decisions. That's what this is all about. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. If you understand what is happening in front of you, you won't be able to go to that church even this Sunday. Here, Gaga will walk out in the neighborhood. This is what is about to happen, and start educating your people. You will not be rushing to go to morning mass, afternoon mass, evening mass, this mass and that mass. You will be rushing. Tomorrow was Sunday. Gather the people in your neighborhood to say, what is about to happen. And if we don't get together and fix these things, we are the monkey and the baboons that they're referring to. And nobody will see it on the news. Nobody's gonna come. You and they're killing us. So no, you've already renewed for them to kill you. When you go to the election, you have renewed for them to kill you. So you can't call UN at the last minute. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So I'm going to play the video right now. Give me 1 minute. It just came back up. And please help us to share. Thank you as you join us. We welcome you to the program. You know, we're so passionate. Sometimes we don't have time and the distance to greet all our people. We wish there's a way we can fly like birds and and flies and give you guys all this information in your ears and make you get it so we can move. It's our passion that is driving us.
Was the president, the pastor like Pastor Tunde Bakare, he will lead millions of Nigeria, save Nigerian soul. I'm surprised when Nigerian soul need to be saved now, Tunde Bakare have not stood up to say save Nigerian soul. Why? Because of whatever they are benefiting from the government, they cannot be able to speak. Shame unto Pastor Tunde Bakare. Yes! Shame unto him. Yes! Shame unto him. Why? This is Christian fighting against Christian. What is the offense of Jonathan that this government have not done? Listen, Pastor Tunde Bakare with some other radicals, they will close Ojota. They said save Nigeria. Nigeria needs to be saved now than ever. Yes, sir.
The point that we're trying to make is that these church people are one of the strategies being used to hold us captive. The worst part of it is that we'll even give them all our money and they will go and say that we are cursed people. Ewo, Mpari at the highest order. Anyway, he has a point because we are cursed. For you to be spending money and giving it to your enemy, you have to be cursed now.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you have to be cursed.
Of course,
So
somebody was a Muslim before.
Right.
He now told you that he's now a Christian and he even became a pastor. Okay, because I know there's some people that repented genuinely. But you're seeing what he's doing, that he's working more with Muslims than you, that you call yourself a Christian. And you're pouring all your money on him and calling him Papa, Papa. You must be cursed. There must be something that is happening to you. And that curse, we break it today in Jesus' name.
Amen.
No
Amen.
more curse, because it's the curse that is making you to give Bakari all your money. So you stop. And we told people that these are all cults. Cult. What is the definition of cult? Somebody just gathered you in one thing and made one leader to be the one that will be thinking for you, manipulating you. It's like witchcraft, brainwashing you. In every cult, you have a leader, then you have followers. And these followers do not think because they get brainwashed. It's only what that leader says do that they do. Even if the leader says, go and kill your mother, you kill your mother. If the leader says, go and kill your father, you kill your father. So these churches are cults. We have other ones, freedom fighting, that have become cults. We have the academic cults. We have political cults, like we said. People want to be the president. You are the thugs, killing for him. And when he gets inside, he forgets you. Have you seen that your brain is not, that the person is mind controlling you? This is what we call mind control. These leaders, whether church leaders, political leaders, academic leader courts in the academics, freedom fighting court leaders, all these people are the same. They have the same attributes. They feel that they are God over their followers. And they feel they have power to give life and to take it out. They control them. They tell their followers who to do business with. They tell their followers who to marry and who not to marry. Some even make their followers to abandon their families and their parents that pay their school fees because their parents do not agree with what they're saying. Some make their followers to kill their family members. Some even have the audacity to make their followers to abandon their family.
I have that in my family.
You see, I even had one of one church, because we told you all these things that we said that church, the church they practice in Nigeria is cult, because the way they do it, they have moved into a cult. Anything that is making you not to be reasonable in your thinking is mind controlling you and is a cult. So there's this one I heard. I think it's Deeper Life Woman. He married the husband though, and from whatever they told him, oh, that you're committing fornication with your family. After 6 children. After 6 children. Meanwhile, Kumui is married to a divorcee and he's moving on. Have you seen how that mind controlling you? The double strategy, standard. If it concerns them, it's different. If it concerns you, it's different. You're being mind controlled. my people. That's what we're saying. They're making you not to reason properly. They bring dogmas that do not make sense. Why are they mind controlling you? So that they can easily put you where you belong. When they say go here, you go. When they say they go here. If we are saying Ninas has come to deliver you, you will not listen. You say, oh no, leave Ninas alone. Because you can't reason. What Ninas is saying, the Ninas proposition is very simple for anybody that is reasoning to understand. But you see this group of people we told you that belong to different cults, it will not make sense to them because their mind is being controlled by their leader. In the church people, is these fake church leaders controlling them. If they are not controlling you, why we will be telling you that these people are coming to kill you? And somebody that calls himself a church leader is telling you go and pick your PVC. My brother, my sister, have you not seen what we're saying? You belong to a cult without knowing it. It is a cult. And we're saying, we understand though, because like my sister said, it's addiction. Because that's the thing, you're addicted to the cult. And that's why you're unable to reason. Because addiction will not, like cocaine. When you take it, it will bring dopamine, the feel-good hormone. Then you're like, yeah, I'm doing something good for myself. So anything any other person is telling you, you will not hear. Why did they make the people to belong to different cults? So that they can weaken their cohesion. Because you cannot unite with your sisters and brothers that belong to another cult. So if you and this cult, when your sister is coming from the other side, said, brother, let's reason together so that they will free. You say, are you part of my cult? No, you're not part of my cult. My own cult is Roman Catholic cult. This one is Pentecostal cult, Anglican cult, Deeper Life cult, Redeemed cult. You don't belong to my cult. So how can I plan with you? My GO has not agreed that I should plan with you. My daddy GO, my mommy GO told me. My daddy GO told me. Gina one nigga ankata how to free yourself because you are in different cults. We are telling
my family member, she refused to come home when her mom died.
Okay. How can you plan liberation with somebody like that? Somebody that did not come when her mother is being buried. How do you think that tomorrow you tell her, say, oh, Fulanis are coming to command, or Britain is coming to take our land, let's plan together? He will look at you and say, who are you? Ibundinjo. I don't want to plan with you. You belong to the court of Adeboye, or you belong to the court of Bakare. So you're not a member of my court. So I'm not going to plan with you. So we're saying that these things that they did and divided us into different cults is so that they can easily swallow all of us. But you know what? Today is a new day. Today, Daughters of Truth are calling you. You can repent and leave that cult you have found yourself. We have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Begin to ask questions. Start by asking your cult leader. That's your cult leader. Ask him, because we want you to separate the real people from the fake people. Ask your cult leader, have you heard of Ninas? Have you heard about Nina's proposition? Have you heard that they're coming to hijack us and kill all of us? Have you heard that Nigeria is collapsing, like Congo is collapsing, like all these countries that have... Ask your cult leaders these questions. Then you will know whether he's redeemable or he's not. And if he's not redeemable, please leave that cult. Come out. We'll show you where to be. Go ahead, please.
My dear, it's so sad. Sometimes the information that we're getting around the things that are happening out to our people it can be very overwhelming. And when we say that you're in cult, it's not an insult.
No,
it's just what it is, And if we begin to identify, or actually, my brother Tony will say you have to make the appropriate diagnosis before you start the treatment. So if we don't make the appropriate diagnosis, when treatment again is not going to work. So we have identified this church, whatever things that you find yourself in, activities that you find yourself into that is causing you not to converse with your brothers and sisters, not to have a rational decision or rational conversation with your brothers and sisters, then you know you're in a court. So call it in the church court, or I'm going to the mission court, midweek service court, they're everywhere. We need to retrace our steps. And one way of stopping any kind of addiction is removing yourself from the product that is causing the addiction in the first place. So if it means that you have to stay away from church just for you to regroup your brain, just for you to understand things and see things from a different perspective, that's what you need to do. What you don't want to do is every time you're at the same place of addiction, getting even more addicted, because we have to move. When we say close shop, we're saying close shop because we love you. We're saying close shop so that you can live your, like my sister said, live a life abundantly. We're not using it to fuel our jet. We're not using it for our son to call you a goat. After the father finished preaching, they will call the other pastor goat. We're not using it for any of that. We just want you to live the lives that other people are living. We want you to be able to wake up and say, this summer, I want to take my children to vacation, and then, be able to do it. We want you to be able to work, retire, and have some money for retirement. All those things, that's what this is all about. When you see us here every Saturday talking, we just want our people to have a fair share of life. And it's not too much to ask for. So, if we go ahead with the next video, let me pull this thing up. Actually, let me play the next video and then we'll talk.
Whatsoever. John Hawkins was a foremost English slave trader, a thief, and by contemporary moral standards he can as well be called a terrorist. John Hawkins made 3 trips to West Africa in the 1560s and stole Africans whom he sold to the Spanish in America. On returning to England after the first trip, his profit was so handsome that Queen Elizabeth I became interested in directly participating in his next venture, and she provided for that purpose a ship named Jesus. Hawkins left with Jesus to steal some more Africans, and he returned to England with such dividends that Queen Elizabeth made him a knight. Hawkins chose as his coat of arms the representation of an African in chains. Today the generations of Hawkins and Queen Elizabeth I are alive, and enjoying life from the proceeds of their evil ancestors. They don't demonize their ancestors despite their active involvement in the greatest evil humanity has ever witnessed. Both individuals sanction rape, kidnapping, and mass murder, but their children don't bear ancestral curses like black Africans.
Nope.
You'd be hard-pressed to see a member of the British elite publicly denounce slavery. Isn't it time to emancipate yourself from mental slavery, O ye Negro? If ancestral curse exists, who should suffer from it? The ancestor who kidnapped and raped and murdered and pillaged and stole and enslaved his fellow man, or the man whose freedom was taken from him? Surely, the man who threw pregnant Negro women to sharks at sea because they were too weak, deserves his future generations to suffer, and not the man whose society was so pure they had no prisons to punish offenders. Do these black Africans who will go to church today binding and casting ancestral curses know that almost all the top British politicians from the 17th century till the 19th century were proud slave merchants? It is on record that 15 Lord Mayors of London, 25 sheriffs, and 38 aldermen of the City of London were shareholders in the Royal Africa Company, RAC, between 1660 to 1690. The RAC alone was responsible for trafficking over 1.5 million Negroes to Britain and twice that number to the Caribbean. David and Alexander Barclays were active participants in the kidnapping and enslavement of millions of black Africans. As was standard practice at the time, the risky and long-term nature of transatlantic slave trading required new banking houses that could offer credits to prospective slave traders for periods of between 1.5 to 3 years. One bank that provided this service was run by Alexander and David Barclay. Their bank still carries their name. The Barclays Bank is also a proud sponsor of the English Premier League that me and you are fanatical fans of Chelsea and Arsenal and Man United today. Their children don't bind and cast their ancestral evil, rather it is the Negro whose ancestors were dehumanized and tortured and enslaved that keeps praying against ancestral curses. The Bank of England was also involved in the slave trade. Sir Richard Neves, who was the director of the bank for 48 years, was also the chairman of the Society of West India Merchants. A group of vile men who stole Africans and made handsome profits by selling them onto farmers who needed them to work in their sugar and tobacco plantations in the West Indies. Today Liverpool Football Club will be playing Tottenham Hotspur in the Barclays Premier League. Pay attention. How many of you who are Liverpool supporters today know that the initial founders of that football club were retired slave traders, whom in 1892, with slavery outlawed, decided to invest their money in a football club that will reap future rewards for their generations to come via a bank called Arthur Haywood and Sons and Company. That bank would be absorbed in turn by the Bank of Liverpool, Martin's Bank, and Barclays Bank. You watch them and shout in ecstasy when they score.
Try.
But a pastor somewhere will tell you the reason you're poor is because your ancestors committed evil, hence the reason you experience a luck. And you will believe and start casting and binding rubbish. For your information, Liverpool was a major port for the transatlantic slave trade.
Oh my goodness. You see, so the point that we're trying to make is that these people has gone out. They have taken us on a merry-go-round. They have called, they have deceived us. Our brother Matthias will say that, Jesus left in style and left us the Bible. So what I and a guy on a merry-go-round. If anybody needs to bind any ancestors, isn't it the ancestors of those that came and stole what does not belong to them?
Exactly.
That got on a ship, massive ship, and came and stole what did not belong to them. My people, the point that we're trying to make is that these people are business partners.
Yes.
They are part of the multi-dimensional strategy to hold you hostage. We just want you all to wake up. We just want you to understand. My sister said we don't understand what is doing us. We want you guys to understand what is doing you so that we can move. They don't want you to have this information. The purpose again for us to come here is to put all these things together because with evidence so that you can begin to understand. Here I will Photoshop. We're not going to tell you that we went to White House and met Biden and all that stuff and we went to rally. No, we're here to tell you things that are true so that you can know what to do and do it fast. Go ahead, my sister.
Yeah, thank you, my sister. Please, our viewers, we're not here to get you angry or offended. No, because we know that one of the signs of these addicts is that when you are telling them what to deliver them from the substance of abuse, they will start fighting you and think that you are the problem. Please, we are not even judging you. We are just we are saying, see. Presenting it to you for you to see what is happening to you. So that we begin to get people will say, what is the way forward? How do we free ourselves from this thing that we have found ourselves? First of all, it's alliance. Form alliance with people that are thinking the same thing with you. That's people that want freedom. It's like cocaine addicts. If you want to be free from cocaine addiction, you will move yourself out of the addictive, those that are taking cocaine. You cannot continue to have those that are taking cocaine and be inside there. Why? Because there's a substance of abuse. The substance of abuse, you move yourself away from it. We said that they're abusing religion. And religion has been abused in Africa. Religion has been abused in Nigeria. Even freedom fighting has been abused. Everything has been abused. They will abuse it and use it to hold us down. So we are talking about debriefing cult members. That is bringing out those that have been addicted to one thing or the other out of it. And you are going to be a partner with us. You play this with us because that's what we want you to listen so that we can work together. We are not here to judge you. We are saying, how do we come out of it? So you need to come out from among them, like those that are reasoning in that way, so that you begin to understand. And we want you to begin to reason by yourself. We don't say don't reason. No. Ask questions. Ask, what is this? What do I do? How do I do it? Like people that in Soludo group of companies. Soludo is there trying to, he said he would grant amnesty to IPOB. And we are telling him, remember that these people are cult members. You need to debrief them. So you might need to set up rehabilitation center where you have programs for therapy to gradually do it. It's not force. It's not something you use force. In dealing with addicts, you don't come with force. You set up programs that will make them psychologically treat them. But we also remind you that IPOB are not the only cult members. Church members are also into cultism because that thing is cult. Anything that is making you not to reason well, they're telling you that they're going to kill you, and you're there sitting there saying, Ekene Maria Jupiter Grace, you are not reasoning and thinking, how do I come out of this? That means that thing, you are addicted to it. It's not allowing you to reason. So we are not insulting anybody. No, please. It's not about insult. Go and look at what we are telling you. How can you be in a church where that you are being killed? People are coming to massacre Christians every day. Your so-called church leaders are not saying anything about it, and are not making plans to free you. Some people say, no be juju be that. No be juju be that. So please, this is not insult at all. We are looking for solution. How do we come out of this thing that we have found ourselves? So we are presenting alternatives to you for you to examine it. That if you are addicted to your church leader who is telling you to continue to be part of cocaine, you will not even listen to what we're saying. That's where the issue of addiction comes in. And we are begging you, please, begin to separate yourself from the abuse, of the substance of abuse. Religion is being abused in our land. We are not saying that people should not worship God. We worship God too. We go to church here, and it's different. How they teach people here is different. What they're teaching you is what will make you to continue to be enslaved. And they're doing it intentionally so that they can take the resources from our land and then kill you also. Please go ahead, Sister Mona.
All right. So one of the things that we do in this show is to tell you the way forward. We just don't talk. We say this is the strategy on the table. This is what will get us to where we need to be. And if you can understand here that we're not trying to take from you while we're doing this, we're not trying to be your leader. We're not trying to be your Lord and your Savior. We are not trying to be any of those. That all we're trying to do is to relay information so that you can make the right decision. But a lot of our people are into Chirihaima, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, they know they hear until the thing will come and blow them up, into Chiriha. Let's understand this so that we can move. No amount of politicking, no amount of anything that can help us to get out of this dungeon, this hellhole or shithole that we find ourselves, if not for us to close shop and tell these people, you are not going to renew the election, renew the life of the Constitution by killing me. I will not aid you and abet you in carrying on this process. I will not be part of this. We will make sure that if you truly want an election, let's go for a referendum and decide on what people want, right? You're the leader of the people. You claim that you're leading the people. So why don't you allow the people to make these decisions of what they want? So that we will need a referendum before anyone that can go to election. Whether if you call yourself P2B or More or Hello or whatever you guys call yourselves, that the people want to be able to decide if they want to be part of the geographical space called Nigeria and continue with these killings. If they vote and say that's what they want, my dear, I will turn off this thing and go to sleep. I'm okay. If they decide that's not what they want, then we have to put things in place to make sure that every nation, every indigenous people's rights are being protected. And then we move forward. So it's the same group of people that are benefited from the system that don't want the rights of the indigenous people to exist. They are the one pushing us forward to the next election. Are you going to be one of the ignorant people that will help them? Are you going to be one of the church leaders that will help them? Are you going to be trapped in your addiction that you don't know what is going on? But guess what? When the consequences come, you have to bear it. Are you a responsible adult with children and want to a better future for your children? If you're any of those, this is the right thing to do. So I'm going to play this next video just for you to see what is on the table. We have mentioned these 5 points demand over and over and over again, and some people are not getting it. They keep saying, oh, Fulani will not allow us. How is Fulani going to allow us? Fulani have already allowed to do everything as an amen. And this particular one that we're asking guys to follow through, you're there questioning it when you don't have any other alternative. The only alternative you have is to find yourself in the forest and be killing your people and burning headquarters, as if that's a strategy. There is a strategy on the table that we must follow. You heard one of the ambassadors, our former ambassadors in Aladdin Masris, she told us that the job has been done, that Nina's made the protocol of international communities, that this is the right way to go, that all we need is to fund it and complete the job. The job has been done. But if you continue to lie to yourself, share rice tomorrow so you can go to service, I don't know what else to tell you guys. So I will play the video.
All of what we have done is the activation of our right to self-determination, which is inalienable. It doesn't depend on anybody agreeing with us, including the so-called federal government, including the so-called Fulani, including anybody at all, because what we're doing is under the instrument called United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, 2007, that simply translates into what remedy is available to us in the lamentations we are caught in. As long as we are distinct ethnic nationalities in our ancestral spaces, we're entitled to that right. And it doesn't depend on anybody else agreeing with us. Therefore, Yoruba land is like Catalonians in Catalonia, like the Scots in Scotland, saying they are fed up with the UK. Let nobody frighten anybody with government is coming or anybody is coming. No, we situated and conditioned what we were doing. All the processes are within legitimate and legal parameters. What we did on the 16th of December in 2020 is to invalidate the instrument by which Nigeria is convened, by which the governance of Nigeria is mandated and defined. But we're not anarchists, because we already indicated that if after 90 days these 5 demands are not met, we will reconsider our allegiance to that constitution. Anybody can interpret it how they choose, but that is what the signatories, that is what the peoples on the territory have indicated. The first demand is that the federal government of Nigeria must now, that the Federation of Nigeria, because the dispute is against the Federation of Nigeria as represented by the illicit federal government of the day, to come to the table by first expressly acknowledging the dispute that has been declared, because it's a sovereignty dispute, it's a union dispute. These constituents are saying, the South and Middle Belt, saying, we no longer have a country if it is this constitution that we didn't make that is locking us down here. Second demand, that federal government must expressly commit to decommissioning, to the decommissioning of wholesale decommissioning of that 1999 constitution. The third demand is that federal government must expressly commit to halting any further renewal of the life of that constitution by way of election. That no further elections will happen, because we cannot be discussing how to settle this fundamental problem, and some are still discussing how to go to election under that constitution, because elections will validate the life of that constitution another season. We must now go to solve the problem. That's the third demand. The fourth demand is that the nationalities have to be invited to work out the modalities, the memberships of the transition body, and the mandate and the time frame and all of it. What will define that period in which we will go to the business of reworking the constitution. We're not talking about sovereign conference. We're not talking about some kind of woolly, the specifics of what has to be done will have to be agreed. Finally, an announcement of a transitioning arrangement, time-bound transitioning arrangement in which everybody will know that from now on it is a transitional government, and then the two-stage process by which the successor constitutions will emerge. The regional blocks will have to make out their constitutions. If we are still discussing a federation, the first thing is that those who were trapped in Nigeria against their will since 1967 will, in the first layer, in the first stage, work out their own constitution. The Yoruba will have their own constitution. The Lower Niger, that's the South, South, and Southeast, cooperating as ethnic nationalities, will have their own charter and constitution. And the Middle Belt, they will go to referendum. There are people who have to recommit to being in any union before they go to the second stage of discussing the terms of the union. Let everybody understand it now, that what happened on the 16th of December was the invalidation of the illicit constitution that was imposed on them all this while, since 1999.
All right, so you can see, like we have mentioned before, we have shared this information with you guys, because some people are still saying, okay, what are we supposed to do? What do we do? How is this going to work? The good thing is that if you go to the ninasvoice.org, you have plenty of information on that. You can also listen to some of the Daughters of Truth videos. We have explained some of these things and broke it down. Because our brother Tony used a lot of big word English. We try to break it down for our people to understand. And you can call us, this phone number, you can call us, you can text us if you truly, genuinely want some information, so that we can direct you on how to use what God has given us. The enemies gathered us to use the churches and whatever to make us to become an addict. We can actually turn it around and use it to be an information group. That's addiction that they're causing us. We can use it to give information to our people. So if you're a church goer, if you're whatever, go in there, be intentional, and give people the information that they need. Approach your pastors and compel them to do the right thing. That's it. If not, Buhari have already told you guys the blood of monkeys and baboons will be on the streets. That's it for me. So it's time for us to take phone calls. We have the phone number listed. If you want to call in and give us your contribution, that's fine. If you want to call us after the show, like most of you will do, that's fine. You can text us, however way that is convenient for you, you can text us. The most important thing is that we want people to begin to understand this, that if we go to that 2024 election, that basically what we are saying is that we're giving you the power to enslave us for 4 more years. That's it. That's the only statement that you're making from that. If I go to 2023 election, basically I'm giving the Fulanese and their partners the power to run me down for another 4 years, and nobody is coming. UN is not coming. US is not coming. Nobody is coming. While you're being killed, they will be selling your oil, using it for their, whatever plan that they have for us, because the plan they have for us is to take over, change the demographics and take over our land. You will see it happening in front of you, and you will not have any more input regarding that. So let's make haste while the sun shines. Don't wake like a fool, or the virgin that came with a lantern and did not come with an oil. Please, we have no time. Go ahead, sister.
I'm trying to unhook myself. They are not coming because they have already told you what to do. If you not close your ears and not listening to what you need to do, it will not be their fault. The entire world is not against you. There are people that actually want to work with you. It's just that some of them are not the big names, because those big names are already compromised, whether in church, in politics, or wherever. The thing is, once you come out and you want to do something, they will rush to you, offer you things, and compromise you. You see why some of your politicians will not be too useful to you, because they are already compromised. They can only be speaking English for you from morning till night. That's all they can do. If they say something else that they shouldn't say, they will come for them. And they don't want to die. So you see, they cannot help you. However, the solution is not for you to go killing people and killing your own. That's not the solution. You have to listen to what we're saying. Close shop. Told the political parties to close shop. There are many ways to kill a rat. The political parties is in your land that come and open shop, is it not? It's in your village they come. It's in your state they come and open shop and start campaigning and doing whatever, giving you rice, giving you what? We're not telling you to go and kill the poor women that collected rice to eat. They're hungry, because we told you that poverty is also a weapon they're using. Instead, go after the people that are giving the rice and tell them to stop giving us rice. Like my sister said, we are in churches. You have been giving them tithe and offering. Turn the church around for your own good. Make your church leaders to do the right thing. You talk to them, you buy cars for them. You are the one paying their house rent. That means you are the employer. They are the employee. So do the right thing. Go and tell them to do the right thing. That what you're looking for is not PVC. That what you're looking for is for them to suspend anything about Fulani election. And let's discuss about how we're going to be alive. Because before that election, they would have hijacked yourself. They are coming. That's your Aso Rock. Buhari will just give them the key and say, thank you, sir. They need a cup of tea. Why you stay? And you, there's nothing you can do. You'll be hijacked. But the only thing that will free you from them hijacking you is pulling down the 1999 Constitution. And it has already been done by Ninas. It was done on the 16th December 2020. It's for you to say, yes, I agree to this thing in my own territory. This thing that was done 16th December 2020 in my territory, I agree also. You support that proclamation because it has already been done. So you support it and say, yes, that is true. I agree with it. As a result, this is what I want to discuss. Referendum. How do we do referendum? That's what I want to talk about. You can listen to the 5-point agenda. That's what you talk about. I don't want to talk about how to put Fulanis in their position for them to continue to kill my people. That's not what I want to discuss. I want to discuss whether I want to be part of the union or not. I will do it through referendum. It's that simple. Get your leaders, your church leaders to say this thing. Those your gang leaders, get them to say this thing and stand on it. Then you would have done a good job. Thank you very much. Please go ahead, Sister Monet.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. All right, so we have no phone calls. We'll be seeing you guys next week. Please help us to share this video. Help us to get people this information. Even if you don't share the video, share the information, because that's how most people get to call us. Share the information. Let other people understand what the processes are, what we need to do in order to make this thing stop, this madness. So if you're a young boy looking for a job, if you're a young man looking to get married, and the resources are not coming, these are the things that we need. These things are the first things first. You shouldn't be looking for money to start business. You should exert all your energy to compel the politicians to close shop. From now till April next year, just 1 year. Imagine if you invest 1 year to cause these people to close shop. After the election, after the election season passes, my dear, by then you would have had things rolling in for you. Wake up and watch your life. The same way you wake up and watch Nigeria is implode is the same way you're going to wake up and watch your area start getting better because the right people are in place. So this is a collective effort. It's not something that you leave for one man to be running around and you guys are there and say, oh, nobody is asking how he's being funded, how he's being taken care of, and you're lying to yourselves. So let's do the needful, let's do the right thing. This is a no-brainer. You know, right now we don't have any other strategy on the table. We've been calling people. I say, if you have superior strategy, please place it on the table. We want to be able to examine it, and you know, if it's better, we'll promote it. But nobody has been able to do that. So instead, our people have resulted into taking PVCs, going for election, getting calls from former governors, the Hannah old boys. They are getting things from people to compromise our people once again, to take them to the same election that we know. Everybody knows that it's not going to benefit us. Our children are dying. You guys are sitting there, at this camp, at this camp. If those young men and women, if they were employed working, there is nothing, there will be no relationship between them and the Imoha and Forest and camp. There will be no relationship. The only reason why a lot of them are desperate is that we left them desperate. And our enemies came and, you know, took them from us and turned them into addicts, where they are doing things that we don't appreciate. So let's do the right thing, my people. It's a no-brainer. I am as responsible adults, as change agents. We will move. We will not be trapped in a church where the pastor that we are funding the church will wake up and call us cursed. And they're making fun of us. I took a guy somewhere else and build the universities and build whatever, and then left our land destitute. How much more of this mess do we want to be engaging? Let's do the right thing. You know, the right thing is easy to do. God is not coming from heaven. Rapture is not coming. Nothing is coming. What will happen is that you will die and the world will move on. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.